I am the one and the only Eagle Double T, and in this video, I'm going to be counting down my top 5 Nintendo controllers of all time. So, let's begin. Coming in at number 5, we have the Super Nintendo controller. Now, the reason that this controller made the list was not because it was overly comfortable, even though it was a lot better than the Sega Genesis controller. It was because it brought in bumpers in the 4-button layout that we've all come to know and love that's on almost every modern controller nowadays. Gamepad's okay. Well, this is an off-brand, so it's not that good. But really, the biggest parts of this controller that made it make the list was it was the first controller to introduce bumpers / triggers, just simple little buttons. And the fact that it used the 4-button layout design that, Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo has all come to adopt. And it all originated with this controller. Coming in at number 4, we have the Wii U Gamepad. Very underrated controller. A lot of people say, oh, it's for babies, all that stupid stuff, when it may not be an Xbox One or a PS4 controller, but that doesn't mean, by default, that it's a bad controller. I mean, it brought in a brand new concept of a second screen. I mean, come on, you gotta love that. And, now you can play video games while your parents watch TV. How can you not love that? It's really comfortable. It's not as comfortable as the Wii U Pro controller, but it fits your hands really well. The buttons, bumpers, really nice. Battery life isn't very long, but it's average, it's decent. It's better than the DualShock 4, I'll tell you that right now. Headphone jack, motion controls, volume switch. The gamepad is great, the joysticks are great. You can use it as a TV remote. Power button, the buttons are amazing. Overall, it is a really good controller, very revolutionary, and very fun to use. Coming in at number 3, we have the N64 controller. One of Nintendo's weirdest designs, but it was quite revolutionary. It was one of the first controllers to offer a joystick, which was a big improvement for 3D graphics, what came to controls, than the gamepad, because the gamepad just didn't control like a joystick. Sure, it may not have been that good of one, but it was a big revolution in itself. The gamepad is great, the buttons are great. The start button is, simple and good. The button triggers are really good. It can take a memory card in the controller, which is pretty cool. Believe it or not, this is actually, I think, one of Nintendo's most comfortable controllers. Pretend like this third peg isn't here. It's just the two side ones. Really comfortable. Definitely better than the DualShock 1 or PlayStation controller, because it was just terrible. This one actually fits my hands really, really nice. And, even though there is not a whole lot of space here, as long as you don't, cram your hand up in there and try to cramp it up, your hands will fit just fine. And, this controller is it's really comfortable, and it was one of the first to come with a joystick. In number 2, we have the Wii Remote. While it may not be Nintendo's most comfortable controller in the world, or best on battery life, it is a motion controller. The first motion controller that people actually ever give a crap about. So, I mean, it's fairly durable. The gamepad is it's really good. The button layout is really nice. I mean, the B button on the back is great. Overall a great controller. You can plug in a Wii Motion Plus for greater enhancement of the motion controller, or sometimes it becomes built in on the later Wii remotes. It came with a nunchuck for games that required a joystick, like Super Mario Galaxy. But I think what makes the Wii Remote so great is that, unlike the PlayStation Move, the Wii Remote actually works, has a comfortable button layout, and was completely original. Coming in at number 1, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the GameCube Controller. Now, you all knew that this controller would be number 1. I mean, how can you not like the GameCube Controller? Even if you didn't like the GameCube, if you're like a PS2 fan, you know unless you're a tiny baby midget that hasn't matured past 2 years old, that the GameCube controller is more comfortable. It has a better gamepad, way better joystick, and better joystick placement. This has like the placement of Xbox, which is really, really nice. The joystick is great. I think that them putting the notches right there is pretty cool. It actually is really nice. The second joystick, even though it is little, it's still fine. I mean, for Call of Duty, it's still just fine. Not too big of a problem, but really, the C-stick was supposed to replace the N64's C buttons. I like the controller layout. It's not like the standard 4-button layout. It's a bit more strategized for Nintendo exclusives. It is so comfortable. I mean, it's just so great. And then later, it came out with the Wavebird, which is basically a wireless version, which is twice as good. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more video game related content and lots of other stuff. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment what your favorite Nintendo controller of all time is. I am the one and only Eagle Double T signing off. Goodbye.